Every single person out there is Chuck. Every single person out there is a universe. And that's the beginning of compassion.
How do you prepare to play someone who is at the heart of this kind of unbelievably kind of magically real story, but who is also just a normal guy?
You know, I think I just connected to it on a really personal level. Chuck is a really normal guy, and to be honest, that's how I feel about myself. Honestly, this film it's very unusual, and it speaks to something I have long thought about, and is really at the center of why I wanted to become an actor. You know, inside the soul of every human being is an internal world of infinite possibility. And perhaps when we're children, if we're lucky, if we're fortunate, those possibilities feel more present in our lives as children, because I think possibly because it's the way we've constructed our society is it's permissible. You know, we love children to do everything. In fact, we want them to. We want them to do their schoolwork and to play sport and play music and do school plays and play and express the whole breadth and range of their spirit, because that's the business of being alive. And as we get older, inevitably and unconsciously, our lives begin to get narrower because we choose a living, or other people choose for us who we are. Mm-hmm. And what I loved about this was my role in the story was quite clear, which is that I had to present the external silhouette of Mr. Businessman. Charles Krantz is Mr. Businessman. He's in a grey suit to the external world, and he doesn't know until he puts his suitcase down that he's also a dancer. Mm-hmm. And that he moves with a freedom and a joy and a spontaneity that he perhaps has forgotten. I think that's true of all of us. Like none of us are one thing. We are many things, and we are the sum of our lives in the end are the people we loved, the memories we made with them, the moments we shared with them, the experiences we created with them. Those memories and experiences can create an entire universe, a constellation of a singular life. And when that life comes to an end, so does that universe. It's a very, very beautiful way of looking at life.
With this movie, you're returning back to the screen. What was it about this script, about this story, that made it the thing that made you say yes?
It was Mike Flanagan. That's it really was really all about Mike. And I had met him socially, and his stunning wife, Kate. Oh. And they both said, well, come on, don't you ever want to work again? And I said, oh, no. And so Mike said, well, what if I asked you to do something? And I said, come on, for you, I'd do anything. And he asked me. So that's why we're here. It's really, really all about Mike.
Yeah. What did it feel like then to read the script and kind of understand what a different work this was for Mike? This is very different to what fans might know Mike for. It's more about celebrating life and joy and the kind of moments you get, rather than, the more gothic kind of emotionally wrought stuff. So what did it feel like to read that and see what he was asking you to do?
When he talked to me about it before I read the script, he said, this is the movie I want to make for my children. And I've met his children, and he's a wonderful father. And I thought, well, I get it. That really means a lot. And, I read it and I cried and I called him and he said, are you upset to play grandma? And I said, no, I am hoping to be a grandma.
Yeah. Grandmas are amazing. We love them.
Grandmas are amazing. No, it was, I understood what it meant to him, and I'm extremely fond of him. So it meant a lot to me to be a part of it.
What was it like then to meet grandpa and grandson with Mark and Benjamin? What was that experience like of kind of getting to build this kind of bubble family that lives differently to the rest of the space of the film?
It was wonderful. I mean, literally the first thing that Benjamin did when I met him is he ran up to me and jumped into my arms. And it was he is he's a wonderful, wonderful kid. Like, he really is extraordinary. And, you know, I grew up in the 70s, and, you know, Mark Hamill, get to be married to Mark Hamill. Are you kidding me? It's so cool. So, you know, and he's such a lovely man. He's so funny and kind and sweet. We had a blast. I mean, Mark and I, we could have just gone on and just had scenes of us just hanging around together. We had so much fun.
It was all kind of I guess you could say, like a Mike Flanagan family. But the people that he didn't work with before, including me and Mia, he really kind of took us under his wing. And Mark, who had worked with Mike before, was Mike and Mark were so connected with each other. They always knew what they wanted for the scene. And Mia was great to work with. She always brought such energy to the set. And I loved being with
She's
with
lovely.
you. And Mia's lovely. Yeah, she's lovely to be around. And
All
yeah,
I had
everyone
to
on that
do
set.
is love my grandchild and my wife. And I had Cody Flanagan, who
Cody's amazing.
he's I mean, at 6 or 7, whatever age he was, at that age, I'd be on a set like this, looking all around. He walked on like he owned
Cody
the
was
joint.
so intelligent.
He knew
Oh
it.
my gosh, he's
Cody
so
was
smart.
so
Yeah,
intelligent.
so smart.
Yeah.
I remember when he's playing with a little train, and his father came in and he said, now remember, when it goes around the 3rd time, no more smiling. And he went back to Video Village, and I looked down and Cody was doing this.
Practicing the muscle.
And I said, Cody, what are you doing? I'm practicing not smiling. He wasn't trying to be funny, but I said to Mia, because I'm supposed to be watching television, Mia's supposed to be reading a book. I said, forget about that business. Nobody's going to be watching anyone but that child. He is absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
And this one, I mean, his instincts are right on. I mean, I didn't listen to the direction that Mike might have given him, but I certainly couldn't have said anything to him that would improve what he was already doing. He's a natural, and I mean, he's going to have a decades-long career, I'm sure of it. He's so gifted.
You play a very vital role in this. It's a movie about the way that we can interact with people for a minute or years, and how they impact us and change our lives. So could you talk a little bit about that aspect of this film and kind of bringing that in the moments that you get with Chuck?
Everybody has a teacher who changes their whole life. We can all point to a moment, a teacher that you may not be in contact with anymore, but when I say that teacher, bing, an image comes up.
Yeah.
And without giving anything away, I will be that teacher for Chuck, and ideally for the audience. It changes the way you think about things.
I love that. That's such a great tease. And when I was speaking to Mia, she was talking about how, you know, she loves you and Mike so much. And I was in awe because I love Legend. It's like
Isn't
one of my
she
all-time-
incredible?
She's
their dream.
She's the dream. And she was saying, you know, Mike said to her, like, this is the movie I want to make for my kids. So what's it like? You guys are always making incredible projects together, and they all have a personal twist. But what was it like for you guys to collaborate on this that is so different tonally, but definitely in theme with the other work that you've done?
One of the reasons I loved working on this is Mike had an individual vision on this. He knew exactly how it should go, and he knew exactly what he wanted, and his adaptation of it was just so clean, and it was so ready, and every shot was planned out in his head, and the edit was all planned out in his head. And to step in to what Mike wants to leave for our children and for Rigby as well, it was a joy, because I didn't feel like I had to bring a whole sense of my own legacy to it. I was a service of my director and service of the story. And it was beautiful to live in his world for a while, entirely directed by him as he wants to see the world. The heart, you know, the man that I know in the evenings at family dinners, the heart that I married, to see him bravely put that out into the world underneath the tutelage of his favorite writer and my favorite writer, and to see that collaboration of these two men who I know are softies at the core, really let it out. It was, I couldn't be more proud to be a part of it.
With everyone you ever meet, everyone you ever know, everyone you ever just imagine, it'll be a universe. whole universe right between my hands. You contain multitudes.
Is there anything that you're just really excited that you got to explore in this one that you kind of weren't expecting?
Just for me to be on a film set again, when I was thinking I was not ever going to be on a film set again. So it was really a wonderful thing, because it was like, oh, I actually, I grew up on a film set. So it's just this, and also, I was very young when I started, and to come back and work with a young person like Benjamin, it was really meaningful to me. People were really lovely to me. Like somebody else asked me who impacted me when I was young. Tim Curry was he was so kind to me and just delightful and wonderful and, funny and saucy and wonderful. And to be able to be the older person and working with a younger person, that was so lovely for me. It really was.
Yeah. I also, you know what? I'm here for Den of Geek, so why not? I just want to know, I'm also like a huge Birds of Prey stan. I've actually written about Birds of Prey quite extensively, about how good it is and how it was so ahead of its time and kind of set everyone else up.
Oh, I had so much fun. And I was totally channeling Tim in that, I have to tell you. And my husband, when I did that part, the best compliment, and he's very complimentary, my husband, but the best thing he ever said to me was I think you were almost as good as Tim in Birds of Prey. And I was like, oh.
I mean, Tim Curry, Harlequin, who wouldn't want that? So you killed it.
Exactly. So, I had so much fun doing that. I was so sad that it didn't get picked up, because I was having such a good time.
This feels like a really weirdly weighted question, even though it's definitely, you've probably been asked it 100 times. But right now, I feel like this movie is very needed. So what do you personally, this is a personal movie for you. It's also a different experience in the way you've been working with Mike. What do you want people to take away from it when they see it?
When you really understand that everyone contains multitudes, that anybody could be a dancer, that anybody could be a dreamer, that anybody could be a mathematician, that just what you see on a person is only the most minuscule truth of the universe inside of them, it becomes harder to be cruel to them, because they're a full person. Every single person out there is Chuck. Every single person out there is a universe. And that's the beginning of compassion. And that's what I want. I want people to have a tiny little extra sprinkle of compassion when they leave the movie theater for fellow mankind. People love to talk about the multiverse and universes layered on top of universes. And I want to remind people that it's a multiverse when you're walking down the street. Every person you encounter
so good.
is a universe.